Tales from the Podcast is brought to you by the following generous sponsorships.
The Happy Hour News Team. Check them out at www.happyhournewsteam.com.
talesfromthepodcast.com, where you can pick up your copy of Tales of Shock and Terror #1. The Skewered Universe Podcast. And viewers like you.
This game is rated S for super fucking sexy. Tales from the Podcast, the fucking video game. Have you ever wanted to stop someone from making another shitty horror movie? Then get ready, because now you can. In Tales from the Podcast, the fucking video game, you control JB, Ron, and Jeff as they embark on a quest through Grungetown to do just that. Along the way, you'll encounter drunken hobos, annoying boy bands, and even a zombie girl or two. It's a retro-style RPG full of action, foul language, and enough horror references to make even the most hardcore horror fan explode from excitement. Collect Pogs, level up your team, and equip the best gear to kick major ass, but also look really fucking cool doing it. Tales from the Podcast, the fucking video game. Make sure to get your copy today. Obtain access to the in-game cheatbot for only $5. I mean, it's worth it just to find out what the access code is alone. Warning. This game has been known to cause extreme sexual arousal, spontaneous dance fights, a strong attraction to zombie girls, and drunken hobo rage.
Hey there, and welcome to another episode of Tales from the Podcast. Unfortunately, Jeff is not here to make it this evening, so hopefully I sound good. Anyways, before we get started, as usual, check out the video game. You can go and check that out over at talesfromthepodcast.com, and you can purchase it via PayPal or CashApp, as you see here, for $10, $15 if you want the cheat included. So don't miss out on a good time. Check that out. It's always fun. And since Jeff's not here, I'll also say go ahead and check out everything that he has going on at Skewered Universe Podcast as well. Also, remember to check out Tales of Shock and Terror, the comic book. You can touch it, rub it, caress it, fuck it. I really don't give a fuck what you do with it. Buy a copy, though, because that's what all the cool kids do, and it's appreciated. And a little bit of... insight on that is episode 2, or not episode, but comic issue 2 should be coming along pretty soon. The majority of the work is done already, so it is basically just waiting on a few little touches, and it will be good to go and start a Kickstarter for that. So it's exciting news to be able to say I have my second comic book being made, and it's going to be fun. But anyways, we're here to talk about an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? And this week we are going to be talking about The Tale of the Bookish Babysitter, which I believe is a Betty Ann story, which makes sense. Now, this is one of those that I think is personally fun, but we'll go ahead and get into it a little bit first. So, first off, this was directed by Lane Patterson, yes. He ended up going on to do quite a bit of shit. He was a producer for Are You Afraid of the Dark, as well as American Playhouse, Friday the 13th, New Blood, and he did producing for Stranger Things all the way up till 2022. He's actually done quite a bit of other shit too, which is pretty cool, but a lot of producing for the most part. His directorial work included this, Teenage, or just says that Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation, the TV series. He did a few episodes of that as well. As far as directing, he really didn't do anything too special, but his producing work's definitely a little bit more on the impressive side, including stuff like Dead Meat, Are You Afraid of the Dark, Tower of Terror. Let's see, The Glow is on there as well. Guy's just been around. It seems like he even did House of Cards as well. So, definitely got himself out there and been around quite a bit. Now, in this episode, we have basically three main actors that come with this one. We got Lynn Adams playing Ricky's mom. She had a lot of small roles, like X-Men Dark Phoenix. She was the flight director. She was in Deja Vu, The Hopeful, Fat Man, Street Legal. Not too many roles, but a lot of TV movies and just short roles in there, to say the least. Really nothing huge, I'd say, but still been a working actress since the fucking 80s. We also have James Sherry playing Ricky in this episode. He's mostly known probably for this right here. He was also in Omen 4, The Awakening, Mom P.I., The Odyssey, the TV series, as well as 21 Jump Street, the series. He was in there as well. So he's did a little bit, but he hasn't acted since the 90s. I guess child actor, and just stopped there. And then our last main actress of this is Natalie Radford, who plays Belinda. And Natalie's been in a few things as well, including Superstar, The X-Files, Agent Red, When Sky Falls, Frenemies. I'd say she's actually been in quite a few things. She has a decent amount of credits to her, and actually a few decent titles in there as well. Unfortunately, no Nightman this week, which is sad because we all love Nightman. How's it going, Mel? Thanks for joining in. And I do apologize this week because this is definitely going to probably be a shorter episode, considering there is no other opinions on this one except for my own. So you gotta just deal with it the way it is, and fuck it. That's just how it rolls today. Now, with that being said, the episode's pretty simple. The Tale of the Bookish Babysitter. We get a kid who's kind of unruly, kind of just does what he wants to do, and more or less just wants to watch TV and just do his own thing. I'm well, thank you. And you're welcome. Now, the kid's mom ends up having to go out and ends up hiring a babysitter who's highly rated, who kind of has a weird look to her, which I'll definitely share that with you guys because I think she has the fucking weirdest fucking hair I've ever fucking seen on a person. And from there, it just kind of gets crazy. She ends up getting the kid off of the TV and wants to start reading books. But every time the kid starts to open any books, Belinda's noticing that things are actually happening from the book. Ricky does not notice any of these things and ends up shutting the first couple of books, basically starting a story and, from our viewpoint, kind of letting something out from that story before continuing on to the next book. So he ends up letting out a few different things from a few different stories. before things start to go haywire, including a spirit and a witch. And the witch ends up getting him to burn some of the books by pretending to be Belinda and basically transforming herself into the babysitter. So ends up being our little plot twist there. From there, things kind of go a little bit crazy, and he has to basically go and figure out how to create his own story to solve these problems. He ends up coming up with the typical kind of kid shit of, oh, well, I found my Tommy gun and I was able to save the day. And obviously, the books aren't going to work that way, especially in a kid's story. So they did not let that fly. Instead, he has to go through and actually figure out how to stop this. So he ends up making up his own story, ends up going into his basement, which turns into like a tomb, in which he's followed by a knight. And then he has to end up showing a sign to the knight to get him to stop trying to attack him, which ends up being his shirt, which says Severance and has a sword, which looks identical to the sword that the knight has. So the knight ends up giving him his sword, which he uses to strike down the witch and stop everything from happening. The witch turns into like Goosebumps goo or like Nickelodeon slime type thing. And then he ends up being able to give the sword back to a king, and the tomb lights up, and it's the first time there's been light in that tomb for centuries, and ends up ending the story with Ricky. A pretty simple story, but a fun one. I wasn't mad about watching this one. I think IMDb ends up giving this one a 7.9. I think personally I'd give this one an 8. It's honestly just a lot of fun, and somebody who's actually seen the entire series of this too. It's kind of sad they didn't go on to do anything else and make Belinda more of a recurring character the way they did with like Dr. Vink or Sarto. So I mean, it is what it is, but it could have been a fun thing to be able to continue on into something else. It was a fun episode. I mean, there's really not a lot to say about the episode. It was well made, it was well done, it was well directed. Even the CGI for the time wasn't bad, considering this is, early mid 90s. Now, with this being a Betty Ann story, it kind of falls right into place with the way that she does things, and we end up getting even a Midnight Society kind of, bookish type thing going on at the end with Tucker picking up the book, and part of a story's already been written in because they already knew that Tucker was a fucking cocksucker and he was going to get into somebody's shit anyway. But yeah, just an all-around fun episode. There's really not a lot bad about this one other than Belinda's hairstyle, in my opinion. But I mean, it's just all around fun. Definitely kind of shows where the world is today too, though. I mean, we don't get anybody reading. That's kind of a whole dead thing too, and I guess bringing stories to life would be something pretty cool in that aspect. But it's just a fun one. Not exactly thrilled for some of the other ones coming up, but it's it is what it is. We get this all the time. I guess with this episode, this ends up being our and where you are really pushing into here. So this is end up being in the middle of season 3. So we've actually hit our middle, which is nice. And we end up getting the Tale of the Carved Stone next. So I mean, we end up getting some fun ones. We end up getting a really cool one in a couple episodes, which is the Tale of the Curious Camera, which ends up having a lot of really fun backstory to it, which I can't really wait to get to that one. But it's been interesting for sure. And I believe, we got this right here, Betty Ann's story, and we got Gary coming next, so we'll end up getting some more fun with Sardo soon. which I'm sure everyone's going to be pretty fucking excited about. Other than that, though, I mean, there's really not too much to explain about this episode. It's just a fun, interesting episode. It's short. It goes by quick, almost too quick. I mean, you really, by the end of this, you really just want to end up seeing more with this one. You want to end up seeing more of what Belinda's able to do. And yes, I did start earlier. Today was a solo episode and just easy, just going by one. So yeah, I decided to start a little bit early. End up having a nice, quiet evening. But it is what it is. Unfortunately, you missed most of the walkthrough there, David. But it's all good. I will say that's probably the worst part about this episode, though, is the fact that we are just kind of left with this one. Like, this would have been something that they could have played off of more than once, and it still could have been a really, really fun episode. There was a lot in here that was pretty cool. There are some weird little things in this one. I'm not sure. I'm sure it's probably on IMDb too. In fact, I'll check. And yeah, it is. That's probably where I read it. But you could tell that the like the aquarium scene where the fish just aren't real. They're not even moving in there. But you know, it's just weird little things like that. But you know, like I said, it's fun. The character of Belinda is great. I don't think they've, other than Sardo and Vink, I don't think they've made another character that's probably as fun. You know, I guess you could probably say the Crimson Clown as well as Zebo as well. But other than that, just interesting, decent little fun episode. Like I said, not too much going on, just straight to the point one. Like I said, I give this one probably about an 8, maybe an 8.5, depending on my mood. But yeah, that's really about it. There's nothing else to really say about this one. It's a fun one. I mean, if you're just getting into the series and you're trying to actually get somebody hooked on it, especially a young child, I'd say this right here would probably be a really good starting point for a lot of people. It's not really particularly scary by any means, but it's a good story and it's done well. The only thing that's kind of surprising about that is that we didn't have Ron Oliver do it, because I still think he could have probably done it better, but still not bad. With that being said, I guess I'll just go ahead and wrap this bitch up, though. It's like I said, fun little quiet, easy episode. Episode reminds me of the Tales from the Crypt Keepers episode. All booked up because it involves a bratty kid, but his books are dull. And there's nothing. Yes, I do agree. In fact, I believe I have that one on VHS behind me. But I'm surprised that you even made that tie. That's a really good point, David. Another really good TV show that was cut short in my opinion, but fun one nonetheless. But I guess before I go ahead and get ready to head out of here, I want to remind everybody to check out what we did with the video game. It's a fun little video game. If you like horror movies, you like horror movie references, and you're a fan of anything and all things 90s, this is for you. It is available for $10, $15 if you want the cheat. I'm not going to say the cheat's a necessity, but goddamn does it make it a little bit easier to go through without doing a lot of the grinding. It is an RPG style game, so, enjoy it for what it is. And me and Jeff appreciate any and all purchases towards that. Put a lot of work into it, so anytime we're able to make something out of it, it's definitely awesome. Hey, Trekkopedia, how's it going? Just me tonight. Yeah, thought I'd have an easy, just quick going night. Really wasn't too much to talk about, just a good, simple episode, and yeah, just thought I'd jump in early and make it a easy going night, I guess. And I'm doing well. Been a busy day. You'd be excited to hear that Xena's doing well. We had to take her out to the vet. She hurt herself, so she's been on a lot of sedation and pain pills for the last few days. So it's been fun. But I know everybody ends up appreciating a good Xena update. The last time she jumped on me, she just like slid herself backwards, so I'm not trying to let her do any of that today. So unfortunately, you won't get to see her, but pretty sure she's sleeping in the other room anyway. Yeah. And well, thank you for joining in, even though I'm getting ready to wrap up. Like I said, simple, easygoing episode. Like I said, though, I want to remind everybody, go to talesfromthepodcast.com. Go check out everything at Skewered Universe. Remember, check out the video game. Put a lot of work into it. Even if it's something that you're not interested in, maybe share it, show a friend. Like I said, me and Jeff, we have animals to feed. And every time you buy like 3 or 4 copies of the game, you're able to buy a bag of dog food for us to feed our pets. I've already mentioned Nightman. Is it the word of the day like Pee Wee's Playhouse? Like Nightman. Ah! Yeah, dude. You gotta have fun with it, right? Also, once again, remind everybody, Tales of Shock and Terror. If you haven't got the comic book yet, you can pretty much check it out here. You can get a hold of me basically anywhere or talesfromthepodcast.com. And I can work on getting you a copy of Tales of Shock and Terror issue number 1. There is not too many of these left, and issue 2 is going to be coming out soon. And I will be putting issue 1 into the Kickstarter for that to help get rid of the last remaining issues of issue 1. So if that's something that you are into, something that you would like to check out, I'd say you probably want to get a hold of me sooner than later. Otherwise, you might miss your chance of getting a physical copy of that issue. I will be focusing more on issue 2, considering that the artwork went amazingly well. I really can't wait to start sharing some more of the stuff from that. I think people are going to be super, super stoked with what they see in some of the comic book. I don't know if anybody is actually in here right now that is interested in that, but if you are, I mean, I have no problem sharing and showing what the hell's been going on there. Like I said, that's going to be a whole different thing on its own, but it's, god damn, is it so fucking good. I mean, I'm very, very excited to see, who's going to like that one, who's going to be interested in that. I will say that the artwork is significantly better. It's crazier. It's definitely a little bit darker. So if you're into horror, which clearly if you're reading a lot of this and watching a lot of the stuff we do, then this is definitely going to be something that you're into. I guess I can go ahead and show a small little teaser and see if anybody does like it. And let me go ahead and pop this bitch up. And from here, you can see a little bit of the artwork that I have going on with it. Like I said, there's still little bits of touch-ups that need to be done. But you can see that it's done in a very dark and disturbing kind of way. I should be able to zoom in a bit and get some good visuals in there. But if this is something you're into and something you want to check out, talesfromthepodcast.com will get you to issue number 1. Issue number 2 will definitely be starting it off with a Kickstarter. And like I said, getting rid of some of the remaining copies of issue 1. And hopefully, people will enjoy that as well. Other than that, though, I really don't have too much else going on. I want to thank everyone for checking this out, liking it, sharing it, being an avid listener like some of you are. Appreciate it. And thank you all. Remember, talesfromthepodcast.com, as well as Skewered Head, are the Skewered Universe links, which could also be found over at talesfromthepodcast.com. And next week, we will be getting into the episode 7. So we'll be doing the Tale of the Carved Stone, a Ron Oliver one, and done by Gary. I'm sure people are going to really enjoy that one. Hopefully. We do have Frank Gorshin is going to be in that episode too. So if you're a fan of Gorshin, you will love what he's done. He did some work with like Star Trek. But I mean, I think his best role was no, he wasn't Batman. I forget about that. I mean, the guy's basically fucking been in so much shit. It's kind of hard to say. What was his best role? He was amazing in 12 Monkeys. He's one of those that we're going to probably have quite a bit to talk about once we get to that episode. But either way, it should be fun. So we'll enjoy that. Anyways, thank you all for tuning in this week. Check out everything we have going on. We appreciate the fuck out of that shit. And with that being said, why don't you guys go and feel the fear?
Staring me till I can't see.